Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, Real Estate Jerky Daily. Normally, Mike Kelly's here with me, but he's still in Washington, D.C. Must be getting a lot of stuff done there. All right, let's get right to the facts. Not a lot of news today. We have some job growth that in May beat expectations, surge on the hopes of a soft landing. Dow's up about 500 and some points. Mortgage-backed securities are down about 18 points, and the 10-year sitting at 4.46, and it's been as high as 4.47 this morning. CFPB is looking at loan officer commission. We'll get into, and Zillow report new detailed picture of the luxury market in 2025. So let's get going, shall we? Like I said, the Dow Jones is up about 500 and some points. It's been averaging between 300 to 500 points this morning. I guess that's not really average. That's more of a range. The S&P is, been up between 52 to 100, but who cares? That's not what we're here about. We're here about mortgage-backed securities because that is how we look at rates. Like I said, they were down about 14 points, and now they're flat. So it's moving all over this morning. And what I want to get at is don't even worry about it. I'm just giving you the news, but you shouldn't worry about it. I'm the lone guy who watches that stuff for you, and you just have to worry about finding that right house. Anyway, the big picture, again, we're seeing more of a stronger labor market today. Earlier in the week, we saw a weaker market with ADP report came in at 35,000, expecting 115,000. Well, let's see what the jobs report had today. That came in at 139,000 jobs in May, beating the expectation of 130,000. But if you look back at the last 2 months, they revised them down by about 95,000 jobs. This is like a story with this report. That's why I don't like this report, the BLS jobs report. It seems like they always give a number and then it's revised down months later, and then no one talks about the revision. So March was down by 52,000 and April lost 43,000 in the revision. So if we run in course, that means this month's May one is going to go down. Let's just say if it goes down 40,000. Well, we're under the expectations big time, and then we've lost out on a rally, and that's what I'm tired of. They need to get better. I guess they lost a lot of people at the BLS jobs report who does it, and they're worried about the actual whatever you want, the correctness of it. But I don't want to get into that right now. If you look at the unemployment rate, it's steady at 4.2%, exactly where they thought it was going to be. If you look at it, the overall labor market remains stable, not as tight as it was in 23 or part of 24, but it is stable. We are still having it good. People have jobs. Yes, some people have been laid off, but only if you look at the average 4.2%. We're not at 8% or 10% like we've been in the past. Why does this matter? Because this stuff is what the Fed looks at to see whether or not we're going in recession, whether or not they should cut rates. All that stuff is what they look at. And that's really the thing today. That's the labor market. So this was jobs week, and then we ended the jobs week on a positive, but I'm thinking it's going to be a negative in another 30 days because I think they're going to revise it down. The CFPB, the Consumer Protection Bureau, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, is looking at loan officer compensation and servicing standards, and they've sent some stuff over to the Office of Management and Budget to look at. This means they're preparing to publish proposed changes for public comment, likely in the next 1 to 3 months. What's expected in these rules? Possible updates to how loan originators are compensated, potentially targeting steering practices, dual compensation structure, and lender paid versus borrower paid models, changing the mortgage servicing around borrow communities and fee structuring and error resolutions. Why does this matter? Could really rechange the whole thing. This is what happened in 2006, changed everything in 2008 when they came out with the loan estimate and the closing disclosure, and they changed all the comp plans, how we could do things. And a lot of us got out of the market and a lot of us stayed in it. What else is going on? Zillow just dropped their April 2025 luxury market report, and it's got some amazing takeaways. Luxury home prices are up 7.2% year over year, and that's well above the pace of inflation and far stronger than any gains that we've seen in other general housing market. Inventory is still tight in the luxury market listing area. They receive multiple offers, especially in lifestyle driven metros. Probably, I would say, Florida and even Las Vegas is still doing well. Days on the market for luxury listings fell to 29 days from 34 days this time last year. This is according to Zillow, because we talked about a totally different one a couple weeks ago, and it had a totally different take on it. Top performing markets: Miami, Florida. Luxury waterfront condos and homes continue to attract both U.S. and international buyers. You know what? Anything by the water, golf course, and this always does well because you can't build anymore. There you can't add on to coast. There's only so much coast. San Diego, California is doing really well there. It's ocean view homes and modern construction. I can see that. Austin, Texas. Despite the cooling mid-tier market, the luxury market is still red hot thanks to tech wealth and tax-driven relocation. I just can imagine that property tax situation, though. Why does this really matter? Luxury demand tends to lead the market on the way up, resist the downturns longer. Um, so ups. So if you're not really in the luxury market as a real estate agent or a mortgage guy, you need to get into it. But a lot of them are cash, which is shocking, but it is. All right. So what else we got to talk about? All right. So it's pretty much when we're talking about the CFPP earlier, one of the things they're looking at more than anything else is the junk fees, and pricing transparency is still the major focus. I don't know about the junk fees. I don't see much of them. I can complain about escrow fees and all the other stuff, but why? It doesn't really matter. Long story short today, the job market came in stronger than they expected. Will it be revised down? We don't know that. CFPB is re-looking at a few things, which is not unheard of. They've done that a lot. And the luxury market's still doing well. Or the question would be, is it doing well? And then the rest of the market's about ready to take off. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I would keep saying July 15th. And the spat between Musk and Trump, I think, was done just to stage to get the Senate behind the big, beautiful bill. And I'm not saying it's a big, beautiful bill. I'm just repeating what they call it, and to get them to vote on it and pass it. And that's what I think is what's going on. But I could be totally wrong. Anyway, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you listening to us, and I appreciate Mike for being here when he is, but and what he's doing in Congress, or not really in Congress, but back in Washington, D.C. We'll find out more of that next week when he comes back. All right, everybody, make it a great day. Have a great weekend. If you need anything, reach out. You can get me anywhere at Ed Parcaut. I'm Ed Parcaut everywhere. And again, thank you. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you